I'll have to admit, the timing chain tensioner job, it's not a quick job. It's not like an oil change or like an alternator change. It's not quick. It is easy, however. It's really simple. I just got done doing it. It's already November 29th. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Probably should have spent more time with my family, but they're still here, so I'm gonna spend majority of my day with them today. Maybe play some video games with my dad like how I used to back in the day. Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. Wow. This guy, he's been playing Soul Calibur with me on the Sega Dreamcast since it was released, and every Soul Calibur I just buy them and we play every Thanksgiving. Last year we played Soul Calibur 3 a lot. But his favorite one is Soul Calibur 1, definitely, for sure. But let's stop talking about video games. This isn't a video game channel. But yeah, as I was going to mention, I just got done with the timing chain cover job. You don't need special tools. You don't need like hard to find tools or expensive tools. None of that stuff you need. So I'm just gonna go over what I use. You know, maybe it gets you guys a little bit motivated to do it, or just kind of pushes you, I guess. But if anyone needs a really good scan tool, this is a really good scanner. It shows live data, and it's just really good for what I paid for. I paid $30 for this on eBay, and I've had it for years now. It hasn't failed on me. There's the model number. It's KW808. So it's a really cheap scanner, $30. I don't want to hear people complain like, I don't got a scanner. If you don't have $30, go get a job. Go get a job. But that's my scanner. I'm gonna put that away. So tools. What did I use? Flathead and Phillips head. Number 2, basic stuff right there. Everyone has to have those. WD-40. I guess you could consider this a tool. I mean, it helps remove freaking stuck stuff, but I use this a lot on the exhaust manifold bolts and nuts, and for the flange springs, I guess. Really helpful. This will save you a lot of time getting those bolts out. Set that right there with my other fluids. This is a big one. I don't, like, you need this. So this is Toyota Seal Packing. Thank you, Hector. Shout out to you for giving me this. Thanks for the hookup. You're gonna need this for, I believe, 6 spots. 6 spots in your engine on the 2ZZ. So you have 2 spots on the lower portion of the block. Then you have the 2 on the top of the block, and then the 2 on the valve cover. So this is really important to have. This is the only thing I recommend. I know there's a ton of them out there in the market, but if Toyota made one, why not use what Toyota made for their engines, you know? You could maybe get away with this one and use like a half-inch ratchet, but since I have it, I just do it super easy. But this is my baby. This is my DeWalt XR. It's a 20 volt. It is the DCF899. This thing will take off anything, or it will break anything if you're not careful with it. But I use this to remove my crank pulley and to install the crank pulley bolt. It's kind of pricey, but when you're working in this field, you're gonna need to get your tools, you know. And I use it a lot for my lug nuts because I was using by hand. That is a lifesaver. Get yourself one of those, people. It is a lifesaver. Alright, moving on. Look, this is how basic I am. I have these Craftsman socket sets from ages ago. This is like when I was just barely getting into cars, and I still own them. Obviously the 1/4 inch, it's more, the label is still there because I don't use this that much, but sometimes you run into a bolt where it's kind of like in a tight area, and this is where this comes in handy. But I believe I only used this once. I think I used this for the on the power steering pump, the 12mm bolt that holds onto the line coming from the power steering reservoir all the way down, it's a really tight fit if you don't crawl underneath. So I was getting it from the side where the wheel well is at, and I use this. You don't really need it. You can get away with maybe this, but this was a lot easier to use, so I ended up using that. But this one, you need for sure a 3/8 socket set. 10 through what did I use? 10 through 14. That's all you need. 10, 12, 14. That's all you need. That's all you need. You could. I also have this extension right here. Comes in handy, but I didn't really need it. This one for sure you need a swivel socket. Swivel. Get one of those. I picked both of these sets up from Sears a long time ago. They were on special on Black Friday, I believe. They were $10 each. Really cheap stuff. This, you guys need this. 3/8. Oof. Swivel head. Lifesaver. Pure lifesaver. And as I made a video about it, I used this for my tensioner with a 19mm Craftsman shallow. It's the perfect size to fit in between the frame and the tensioner. It's the perfect size, and that way you don't strip bolts and you don't use an open end wrench. That I already made a video on that, so go ahead and go back to and look that video up. I have this Harbor Freight angled needle nose pliers. Really helpful. It saved me a ton of time. What else? No, I did not use that. That was just in my car. Oh, oil filter remover tool. I, for the longest time, did not have one of these at home. I don't know why I forced myself to use a flathead screwdriver and just shove it through the oil filter itself and just rotate it that way. This is like $3 at Walmart. It is a hyper tough brand that's in their oil filter section. Just buy it. It is a lifesaver. A lot of these tools are lifesavers for me. Like I don't know why we struggle. Like just buy the correct tools and everything will be a lot simpler, you know? I have another Black Friday buy from a long time ago. My 24-piece Craftsman open end wrench. You don't need the whole set, but I bought it because it was on sale. The ones I used from this were 12, 14, 17, and 10. Those were the only ones I ended up using, but I mean, I bought the whole set, so it's there, but those are the ones I ended up using, those numbers. Flat needle nose pliers. I've had these for ages. They're not Harbor Freight ones, but still. This for your power steering pump. What happens with the power steering pump is that it's when it's on the engine block, there's these two slide. I don't know what they're called. Slide dowels. I don't know the correct name for them, but when you install the power steering pump and then the bolt and the nut, it pushes those in, and that's what holds the power steering pump really good. So when you remove those two nuts and bolts, you can't take off the power steering pump just that easily. So I use this. This is a Harbor Freight pry bar, and I use the pry bar to remove the power steering pump from the engine block after I had removed the bolts and nuts. So you can get that from Harbor Freight. It's a set of 4. I have them right here. Set of 4, really cheap stuff. Go ahead and buy them. They're really helpful. I've used them a lot. Another Harbor Freight tool. These are, no, I don't have the label, but these are ratcheting wrenches. These things, wow, I barely bought these. I believe mid this year I barely bought these, and this is one of the tools that I should have bought ages ago. This the real one I used was the 12 millimeter for the AC compressor. When you remove your alternator, it's for the Celicas. The top 12 millimeter bolt for holding the AC compressor, it's like in a really narrow spot, so you can't get a ratchet in there to take it out, because if you back it out, one, it's gonna hit the line, the AC line, and two, you can't really use that. So I bought this from Harbor Freight with their coupon and use a 12 millimeter. Pure breeze, pure breeze. Really cheap set, under 20 bucks. Pick one of these up. It's worth it. It's worth it. I for sure used the 12 millimeter. The other ones, actually the 17 millimeter as well, I also used for the long bolt for the serpentine belt tensioner. There's a long 17 millimeter holding into the block. I used the 17 off this set. Lifesavers, dude. Get one of those. Get one of those. I actually did not use my shallow half-inch set. Didn't really use it, but it was in my bag. But good stuff to also own. Let's see what else. What else? This I used a lot. My chrome long sets. Harbor Freight stuff. Harbor Freight stuff. Put everything back. Just a regular half-inch from Harbor Freight. Extensions, Harbor Freight. Use those as well. Last tool. I didn't really use this. I just had it in my car, so it's whatever. So those were the tools I used for the timing chain tensioner job.